Chapter 5 Cold Water Systems. The water system service pipework to dwellings. The water service pipework to dwellings. Distribution of water in cities, towns, and villages. Water is supplied to our homes via a grid system network of pipes known as trunk mains, a phrase dating back to when the mains were constructed from hollowed out tree trunks. Trunk mains will vary in diameter depending on the purpose of the main and the likely demand for the supply. Pipes that transfer water to the various points in the distribution system can vary in diameter from 75 mm to 2.3 meters. The size of the water main depends upon the size of the community that it serves. Table 5.2, the size of the water main required depends on the size of the community it is to serve. Town population 500,000. Size of the main, meters in diameter, is 1.05 meters to 1.20 meters. Town population of 200,000. The size of the main will be 0.75 meters. And a town population of 5,000 to 20,000, the size of the main will be 0.2 meters to 0.3 meters. When a new house has to be connected to the water supply, the supply pipes are usually 25 millimeters in diameter. At the boundary of the dwelling, a screw-down top valve is installed so that the supply to the house can be isolated if necessary while any repairs are carried out. Methods of connection to the water main. Methods of connection to the water main. Underneath the road is the water main. The connection for the water supply to the dwelling is made by a brass ferrule, which is the responsibility of the water undertaker. The ferrule is a type of shut-off valve that allows the water supply connection to be isolated for maintenance and repair. The connection to the water main can be in a number of ways, dependent upon the material from which the water main is made. For instance, if the water main is made of cast iron, then a self-drilling and tapping machine is used. With this tool, the water main is drilled, threaded, and a ferrule inserted while the main is still under pressure, so that the supply to the water properties is not to other properties. Supply to other properties is not disturbed. If the main is made from PVCU or cementitious lined asbestos, then a brass strap type ferrule is used. From the water main to the building. The water supply from the water main into the building comprises two separate pipes. Number one, the communication pipe, owned and maintained by the water undertaker. Number two, the supply pipe, owned and maintained by the owner of the building. The communication pipe is installed by the water undertaker from the ferrule on the water main to the main external stop valve, also known as the boundary stop valve. The boundary stop valve because it is usually located at the boundary of the property. It incorporates a gooseneck bend to allow for any settlement of the roadway or pavement. It is the sole responsibility of the water undertaker to install, repair, and maintain the communication pipe and main external stop valve. The supply pipe runs from the main external stop valve to the dwelling and is the responsibility of the house owner. It must be installed at a minimum depth of 750 millimeters and a maximum depth of 1,350 millimeters. It must terminate within the building with a screw-down type stop valve manufactured to BS 1010. Manufactured to BS 1010 with a drain-off valve installed immediately above the stop valve. Together, the communication pipe and the supply pipe make up the service pipe to the building. The water supply to buildings can be arranged in numerous ways. In each case, separate dwellings supplied must have a controlling stop valve in a position that will allow the water supply to be turned off in an emergency without affecting any other property. Most water supplies in modern dwellings and industrial premises are piped in medium density polyethylene pipe, MDPE, which is colored blue for easy identification to show mains cold potable water. This is generally known as blue poly. Blue poly. The minimum pipe size for modern dwellings is 25 millimeters. Soft copper to BSEN 1057 R220 can also be used. Soft copper BSEN 1057 R220 can also be used. With new installations, a water meter is either fitted at the boundary to the property or in an external ground breaker type meter box. This is so the customer does not have to be present when the meter is being read and to prevent illegal tampering with the water meter. Water meters inside of the dwelling are usually fitted to existing water supplies. They must be fitted between two stop taps with a drain-off valve fitted after the meter, but before the upper stop tap. Key point: from the external main stop valve is where the plumber's involvement with the water supply water fittings regulation 1999 begins. From here on, everything that we do to the cold and hot water system in the building is regulated to ensure that the water supplied is fit for its intended purpose. Entering the property. With new installations, the water meter is either fitted to the boundary to the property or in an external ground breaker type meter box. This is so the customer does not have to be present when the meter is being read and to prevent illegal tampering with the water meter. Water meters inside the dwelling are usually fitted to existing water supplies. They must be fitted between two stop taps with a drain-off valve fitted after the meter but before the upper stop tap. Entering the property. When the water supply enters the property, it should terminate with a screw-down top valve complying with BS 10102 specification for draw-off taps and stop valves for water services, screw-down pattern. Draw-off taps and above-ground stop valves. The DEFRA guidance to the Water Supply Water Fittings Regulations 1999 is very specific. As far as is reasonably practicable, number 1A, stop valves should be located inside the building, and 2, be located above floor level, and 3, as near as possible to the point where the supply enters the building, and 4, be so installed that its closure will prevent the supply of water to any point in the premises. Source section 4G 10.5. The diagram in figure 5.22 illustrates the point. The water authorities recommend that no more than 150 millimeters of blue MDPE pipe be exposed above the floor level of the building. This is to minimize the amount of the MDPE pipework visible because MDPE decomposes under persistent exposure to ultraviolet light, UV light, present in daylight. There are many different stop valve tap styles available that are manufactured to BS 10102. This, however, would not be acceptable when used as the lower stop tap on an internal water meter installation, as it would be possible to draw water from the main before the water meter, leading to erroneous metering. Any stop tap used above or below ground must be made from either gunmetal or corrosion-resistant brass to prevent dezincification of the stop tap. The water regulations state every water fitting shall be immune to or protected from corrosion by galvanic action by any other process which is likely to result in contamination or waste of water. Schedule 2, Source Schedule 2, Regulation 3. All fittings that are made of copper alloy, such as brass or gunmetal, should carry either CR or GM marks on the fitting body to show that they are corrosion resistant. A drain-off valve conforming to BSEN 1254 should be installed immediately above any stop-tap valve to allow draining of the system.